Hey everyone, welcome to the Internet Capitalists podcast with Luke Kish, where we talk about mindset, experiences, and frameworks that will help you have fun, get rich, build cool shit, and positively impact the world. I'm your host, Luke Kish, and welcome to episode number 6 of the podcast, all about dopamine and your reward system. So today's my birthday, actually. I turned 30 today. And Nikki set up an amazing night for me 2 nights ago, and we partied hard. And now I feel like a bag of rocks, and it's still 2 days later. I don't feel terrible, but like not working at full capacity. And so the topic today is very relevant to my current situation and just in general. So I'm going to go through, your reward threshold, your dopamine threshold, and how being mindful of how you're getting your dopamine allows you to be much more effective and impactful in life. So, 2 nights ago, we went out, I drank a bunch of alcohol, Red Bulls, some coffee beforehand, and you're just flooded, right? So it's just like having a great time, laughing, hilarious, amazing. The next day, and even today, there's way less of the stuff in my brain that makes me feel good and feel alert and feel focused and makes me want to do things. And I can just sense it, right? Like, I'm like, fuck, I have this to do today. How am I going to be able to do all those things? And typically I wake up with the stuff that I have to do today and it'd be totally fine. Or like yesterday I was hungover and all I wanted was to be in the state of doing a podcast with clarity and with, certainty and the ability to be cognizant and to think well. When I was younger, I partied a lot. And that kind of stopped, to be honest, when I was like 20 years. It stopped when I was like 19 years old. I partied again from like 22 to 24, just on the weekends. And then now, I haven't been drunk like that I haven't partied like that for years, literal years. I had 2 glasses of wine probably over the last 6 to 8 months. I don't smoke pot, so I don't get these dopamine hits that a lot of people usually do, right? So, if you're someone out there and you have alcohol, frequently, even weekly, if you have alcohol, if you smoke weed, right? If you have pot frequently, I smoked pot back in college, I don't anymore. Then what happens is you get so much dopamine from those things that normal life no longer gives you the rewards that normal life needs to give you for you to effectively make progress and for your brain to latch on to the activities in the reality that you're working on, so that it gets the positive feedback like, hey, this is good, do more of this, right? If you're fresh off of bong rips, guess what? If you sit down and you get work done for an hour, you're not going to get any positive feedback that's even remotely close to this exogenous, ingestion of something that literally just dumps your reward system, right? So alcohol, weed, drugs, those things obviously do that. Video games, porn, all of these kinds of things stimulate your reward system. And for many people, they're so stimulated by these, we'll call them like non-progress created loads, right? Like non-progress created brain dumps of dopamine, i.e. things like you don't have to work for, you just give yourself a bunch of dopamine. Because that is pushed so far, normal life no longer is that interesting, right? It's like you can't be motivated by doing normal things. So I'm like, me and Nikki are both like, all right, I don't need to do that again for 5 fucking years. I don't know if I ever even want to do that again in my life, right? Like I turned 30, it's fun. It's amazing. The next day is so terrible that it almost neutralizes the experience, right? Like it almost neutralizes the experience. Maybe when you're 21, 22, you don't have any shit to do. You don't have any responsibilities. Like today, I'm like, I got to do this podcast. I got to, at 9:00 do a sales team huddle. I got to record an ad. I have my ops team meeting. I have my copyright and my creative meeting. I don't want to have to do all those things at 30 fucking percent, right? Like I don't want to have to struggle through all of that. I much more would prefer to, it's my 30th birthday. So it's not like, it's an exception there. But, if it was just a regular weekend, I would never, ever, ever want to give up the clarity on my Monday to have a little bit extra fun on a Friday, right? Like, hell no. And I think lots of people do that, man. I think lots of people, without realizing it, just tap their reward system, and then they reach a place where their brain is no longer giving them the positive signals. And here's the thing about this. This is so subtle, right? And working this in a positive direction is so subtle when you're not giving yourself the foreign rewards, that it's not like you're like, oh baby, like I just did all the work I needed to do. I feel fucking amazing right now. I'm euphoric, right? It's just like a subtle thing. But that's all your brain needs, right? Like that's how your brain's designed to progress and to move forward. And it needs those dopamine hits during the positive activities. Like you can't tell me if you're scrolling through TikTok and Instagram, basically like, looking at whatever you're looking at, and it's very stimulating. It's very addicting. It's very engaging, right? It's like naked people basically everywhere. Crazy, little skits going on. Hilarious, ridiculous memes. Like, the most dramatic stuff, the cutest stuff, the most horrendous stuff, the wildest stuff. All of this stuff gives you so much more than normal life will. And you need to get the feeling from the subtle, healthy progress, like reading a book for 30 minutes, right? Like think about reading a book for 30 minutes, how long that dopamine hit you're going to have to, repeatedly do until that dopamine hit really registers in your brain. Like, hey, this is a good activity. Or waking up and doing some work in the morning, whatever it may be, right? Like going to the gym. None of these things give you the crazy kind of reward immediately. They have like a delayed thing, and your brain then is wanting it, but it's not as obvious as like these artificial things. So definitely be mindful there. And then here's the way to do it. Just cut all of that stuff out. Right? Contrast bias. If you get less from all of that, then you'll get more from what is subtle. Right? Your brain still wants it. Your brain still is going to find it. It'll just get it and feel it more from these same activities. So if you just save all of it up, you're going to have all of the happy chemicals, all the brain chemicals just chilling in your brain, ready to be released by, cleaning your home, cleaning your room, reading a book, doing some work that you wanted to do. Right? Sitting down and just, planning out your week. Like some of these more subtle things will begin to feel good for you. And that's where you want to get. So you want to have that threshold go back to like a baseline. That's why you've heard of people do dopamine detoxes. I've done this before, where you just eliminate all the things that are giving you dopamine. And it's a little extreme, right? So it doesn't work forever because obviously it's not totally natural to do that, but it's limiting those things and then getting rid of the obviously bad ones like alcohol and marijuana, in my opinion. Any like drugs and substances, that artificially just dump you, obviously not going to be good, right? Obviously not going to be good. So yeah, that's my little rant there. I have more thoughts, but I'm still recovering right now. My brain isn't as clear, as high level, as quick, as 30,000 foot view as it typically is due to partying my butt off on Friday. Had a great time. Shout out to Nikki. So grateful for her. She set up an amazing night. We went to Del Frisco's. There was like a professionally designed table and like a set menu in the restaurant in this vault room, which was super sweet. Had a bunch of friends there. That was amazing. We took a party bus there. That was amazing. Party bus to a nightclub. We got bottle service, tables, big signs said Luke, and it was a great time. Then we went to the Four Seasons Hotel, which was my idea to not have to go home and sit in an Uber, sit on a party bus for 30 minutes when you're all not feeling good. So it was a great time, great night, but you're paying the price for it right now. I'm paying the price for it. It's like, you kind of take from the next few days the juices that you need. So if you're out there, you're partying, once in a blue moon, sure. If it's a habitual thing, if you're smoking weed habitually and it's not more than once in just a blue moon, then just know you are crippling yourself. Like you 100% are holding yourself back. There is no escaping that fact. Like if you want to get more things done in normal life, you want normal life to grip you more, which we all do. We don't want to, have to rely on foreign things to feel good and enjoy ourselves. And if you want normal life to grip you, right? Which we do, everybody does, have your normal reality and your natural set point be one that you can work well with as you move through life, then get rid of all of the nonsense. First thing you can do is a full detox if you want. Try a month. No Instagram, no social media, no porn, no substances, none of whatever it is that you use to get your hits. You'll feel blue for a little bit, for a few days, you'll feel whatever. But if you just stick with it, all of a sudden you'll want to do the things that you're allowed to do, that you let yourself do. And these will be the little progress. All of a sudden, making the website, sitting, writing emails, sitting, working leads and lists, all of a sudden those things sound more fun and more interesting. Why? Because your brain still wants to get the dopamine. So that's a good way to begin doing it. And then, you can take that however long as you need to really understand the concept. And then once you understand the concept, I think, you can't do that forever because you can kind of turn into a zombie doing that. And I don't think, at least for me, that, going way, 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 way in one direction for super long works. You kind of have to come back out and introduce some of that stuff just more intelligently. So I hope this podcast helped. Once again, I'm running on like 60% capacity. This is a warm up. Wish me luck for the rest of the day. I got a call at 9 a.m. It's in 40 minutes. I got another one at 9:30. I got another one at 10. I got one-on-ones. I got an ad to film and I'm running at like 60%. But I feel the brain getting some good feelings from doing this. And articulating here is helping me reorient my thinking, so it's no longer as much scrambled eggs. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Guard your reward system, guard your brain, and work it into getting a grip and good sensation from the reality that you are in and that you are dealing with. That is the most sustainable way to live your life. And if you're using substances, if you're adding in these artificial things that make the set point for any response so high, you're just flat out making it harder for you to succeed and making it harder for you to win and move forward in life. All right. The brain is a magical thing, and it will help you if you intelligently use it. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. This was episode number 6. The Internet Capitalist Podcast. I am your host, Luke Kish. I'll see you tomorrow with a higher perspective, a clearer mind, and a more leveled out brain. For now, wish me luck for the rest of the day. Subscribe if you like it, and I'll see you tomorrow.